No DQ Galaxy. We are live with a recap of WWE NXT Deadline 2023, the final WWE Premium Live event of the year. We kicked off the show with the one and only Heartbreak Kid, Shawn Michaels. He came to the ring. He had a simple question for the fans. Were they ready? And then all of a sudden, we had the arrival of CM Punk. CM Punk published a photo of himself at WWE headquarters today, mentioned that he missed his flight, and teased showing up at NXT. And sure enough, he came out there to open up the pay-per-view. He was wearing a Bret Hart pink and black hoodie. Shawn Michaels did take note of that. Punk took a selfie with Shawn, and then Punk teased the idea that he might actually join the NXT brand and become an NXT superstar. It's all fun. It's a nice little tease, but we know that ain't going to happen. Now, I would not rule out CM Punk doing an NXT match at some point, but I would suspect that he joins Raw or SmackDown. It was a nice idea to have him on the show. Definitely generated some buzz and excitement. And I get to talk about CM Punk here on the stream. Nice way to open up the show. And then we had our first match of the evening, which was for the NXT North American Championship, Dirty Dominik Mysterio versus Dragon Lee. It was originally supposed to be Wesley in the match, but he needs back surgery. Dragon Lee took his spot. Rey Mysterio came out to the ring on crutches to support Dragon Lee. Rey was on commentary for the match. It was a solid match, back and forth. When Dominik got the upper hand, he was taunting the fans. He was also taunting his dad on commentary. Dominik did the Three Amigos, but then he got a little bit too cocky. He perhaps could have won the match, but he lifted up Lee, and then Lee was able to give Dominik a double stomp on the ring apron. Lee got Dominik back in the ring, hit another double stomp, but Dominik was able to grab the rope. Dominik did regain the upper hand, but Lee avoided the 619. Lee then pinned Dominik with his finishing move to capture the North American Championship. And Lee celebrated with Rey after the match. I expected a title change here, especially after Dragon Lee lost clean on SmackDown. That combined with Wesley going down with injury, I felt like WWE would give the fans a feel-good moment here. Dragon Lee winning his first championship in WWE. Solid match to kick off the show. We had our women's Iron Survivor Challenge, and in these matches, the idea is to get the most points in 25 minutes, and you get a point by pinfall or submission. And then if you're the one that's pinned or you submit, you have to go into a penalty box for 90 seconds. We had the 5 participants: Tiffany, Stratton, Lash legend Blair, Davenport, Kelani, Jordan, and Fallon, Henley. This was a very entertaining match. Both of these Iron Survivor matches were very fast-paced and fun to watch. I like the concept. It's like an Iron Man match, but also like the old King of the Mountain match in TNA with the penalty box. They're just fun. There's lots of falls happening, so it keeps you excited. it's something different. And one thing I really like about these matches is that it's not tons of near falls, guys kicking out at 2, that sort of thing, which we see in every single match nowadays. In this type of match, you see people getting pinned and you're keeping track of the points. I like the concept. I'm definitely invested in these matches. I wonder if we'll see them on the main roster at some point. They basically replaced War Games once War Games went to the main roster. Of everybody in this match, the one that I was the most impressed with was Lash Legend. Like, I haven't really seen a whole lot of her. I do not watch the weekly NXT shows these days, but when she came out there, like, she looks credible, and she came in there and was doing the power moves. She did a double power bomb out of the corner to Fallon and Tiffany, and she did a double suplex to Kelani and Blair. She looked like $1 million, and her and Tiffany, of everybody in this match, I feel like they have the biggest upside. Blair Davenport is good too, and we'll talk about her more in just a moment here. We had one moment where the Meta-4, which is Lash's faction, they were blocking the door so Tiffany and Fallon could not get out of the box. Now, of course, they were able to climb out, but when Fallon was climbing out, Tiffany just shoved her and Fallon crashed through the table. Tiffany then climbed up, did a big dive onto everybody, the Meta-4 and everyone below. Cool stuff here. Crowd was chanting, "This is awesome." But it was Blair Davenport who got 3 points and survived the clock to win the match. 25-minute match. Blair Davenport won. She's a seasoned veteran. She was in AEW. She's been around for several years. Not exactly a newcomer. And I definitely think there's an upside with her. I was a little surprised, though. I felt like this would be a win for Tiffany Stratton, so I got that one wrong. Still, very entertaining match. And then Lyra Valkyria, the women's champion, she appeared at the stage and then was attacked from behind by the returning Cora Jade. She is back, and looks like the champion has more than one person she has to worry about. Next up, we had Carmelo Hayes versus Lexus King, which, in my opinion, I thought this was the weakest match of the show. Not that it was bad or anything, but so far, I'm not really feeling Lexus King. I don't like the name. I don't like the beard. In-ring work was okay, but like, as far as Carmelo Hayes' matches go, I feel like this was probably his weakest PLE match to date. Like, it was just a good match, but it wasn't like spectacular or anything. It was just a standard match with these guys. Lexus King, the gimmick, it's not working for me so far. Brian Pillman Jr., I know he's trying to do something different, but I'm just not feeling it. Match was okay, and Carmelo picked up the win with the nothing but net, the big diving leg drop. No surprise here. And after the match, Lexus King got on the mic and claimed that he was not the one that attacked Trick Williams several weeks ago. And he basically admitted that he tried to create all this dissension between them so he could get a spot on the premium live event, which I guess was a smart idea. The question is, will he get another one? That remains to be seen. There's still time for Lexus King, but I definitely think that it's a work in progress with him, and they may have to tweak some stuff with him because I'm just not feeling the whole presentation up to this point. We had our second Iron Survivor Challenge match, which was another great match here. Very entertaining. We had Dijak, Trick Williams, Josh Briggs, Bron Breakker, and Tyler Bate. It started with Dijak and Josh Briggs, and later on in the match, they were working together as a team. They're two big guys. Actually, I could see these guys being a tag team at some point. Like, I feel like they would mesh well together. Maybe they could be back on the main roster with Dijak coming back and then Briggs getting called up. There's a possible idea. Same rules here, 25-minute match. Whoever gets the most points wins. If you get pinned, you have to spend 90 seconds in the penalty box. And we got a lot of points, a lot of falls in this match. Very entertaining stuff. When Williams came out there, crowd went crazy. They love his entrance, whooped that trick. He came out there, he cleaned house. And Tyler Bate was in there. He got in a lot of offense. He did a big airplane spin, turned it into a slam. He picked up Williams for that. Got a standing ovation from the fans. He got a few falls. There's a guy, I know he's pretty small, but fantastic worker. 100% should be on the main roster. It's overdue. You could definitely find something with him. He's a great underdog. He's never going to be like the top guy, but you could pair him up with Butch, Pete Dunne. Like, there's a lot of things you could do with him, and he just should 100% be on the main roster. Trick Williams is going to be a big star. I mean, there's no question about it. Like, he's got the size and the look and the charisma. He's going to be a big deal. And, of course, Bron Breakker, who came in there and was destroying people, spear after spear after spear. He pinned 3 guys in the span of like 20 seconds. And then he hit a Frankensteiner to Dijak, but Tyler Bate, as Dijak was coming down, Bate turned it into a Tiger Driver, pinned Dijak to gain a 3rd point. We had several guys with 3 points. Trick Williams had 0 points. He was in trouble, and he got speared through the barricade by Bron Breakker, and then Dijak chokeslammed Breakker through the announce table, and then back in the ring, we had a really crazy moment here. Trick Williams got back into the match, and he managed to get 4 falls in like the span of a minute. This guy, Eddie Thorpe, I don't know who he is, but apparently he has a storyline with Dijak. He interfered in the match, but Williams got 4 falls in a very short period of time right before the clock ran out. He literally got the 4th point with like 10 seconds left, and he picked up the win. So they did a really climactic ending to this match with Williams going from 0 to 4 very quickly and picking up the win. Big victory for him. Like I said, he's going to be a major star. Him, Bron Breakker, Tyler Bate should all be on the main roster now, quite frankly. Like, there's no need for them to be in NXT. They're ready for the big time. And you could definitely consider the idea of Dijak and Briggs, maybe try them as a tag team. I could see them being a tag team on the main roster at some point. Great match here. Very entertaining. And then we had Roxanne Perez versus Kiana James in a steel cage match. I don't watch the weekly shows. Like, Kiana James, is she supposed to be like a rich girl? Isn't that what Tiffany Stratton's gimmick is? I don't know. Anyways, pretty good steel cage match here with them. They were throwing each other into the cage a lot. And Kiana James was trying to escape at one point. And then Roxanne went up top, was trying to do a big move. Kiana went after her. And then Kiana grabbed a chair. She was trying to escape through the door, and she pulled a chair out from under the ring, tried to use it, was not successful. and Roxanne was going to use the chair, but then this is such a cliche in steel cage matches. You had this woman, what was her name? Izzy Dame, another person I'm not familiar with. She slammed the cage door on Roxanne's face, which, I mean, this gimmick is so overdone. And it just waters down the steel cage match stipulation, because they always say a steel cage match is supposed to settle a score and prevent outside interference, and it like never does. So Roxanne ends up losing here due to the interference. Kiana uses the steel chair, pins Roxanne. It was a good match, but I'm so over the slamming the cage door on somebody's face finish. It just happens way too often, in my opinion. I would put this match slightly above the Carmelo match, which is kind of crazy to say, but I did think that they worked really hard here and had a pretty intense match in the steel cage. But I agree with Nick to a degree that it doesn't help when there's no blood. Like the steel cage matches are really perfect for blood, because you're throwing a person face first into the cage, and you know they're gonna get bloody. We had our main event of the evening, which was Ilja Dragunov versus Baron Corbin. Good match, but I don't care about Baron Corbin. I know they got him in NXT. They're trying to rehab him, but him coming out there on the motorcycle, he has some crappy music. He's American badass wannabe. I guess we could call him the American bum ass. He's a good wrestler, but I just don't care about him. And I have no interest in Baron Corbin at this point. Dragonov is fantastic, though. Like, he is another guy 100% should be on the main roster right now. Just a great, great wrestler. I mean, one of the best workers in the world, in my opinion. Like, this guy is so great. And I love his entrance. You know, he comes out there with the lighting and he does the eyes into the camera. Like, he's great. He should 100% be on the main roster. Good match here. Dragonov had the early upper hand. He gave Corbin a German suplex on the floor, but then Corbin picked up Dragonov and dropped him ribs first on the, as the announcers called it, the reinforced table. They had to fix the table. And Corbin worked him over for a long time. Dragonov made a comeback. They traded some shots, and Dragonov was doing the machine gun chops. He tried to power bomb Corbin, but could not do it. His ribs were hurting. He kept selling the ribs during the match, and that would give Corbin the opportunity to regain the upper hand. Corbin gave Dragonov an avalanche choke slam out of the corner and then hit the deep six. Dragonov kicked out, and then Dragonov finally managed to powerbomb Corbin. He did the coast to coast, which was Shane McMahon's old move. He was still hurting, but he got enough in the tank to build up momentum. He hit 3 H-bombs and then said something to Corbin, and then finished off Corbin with the Torpedo Moscow, his finishing move. Got the win, retained the title. No surprise here. Good match, but I had a tough time getting invested in it because, well, Baron Corbin. And then afterwards, Trick Williams came out there, and as the credits were rolling up, Carmelo Hayes was walking out there right behind Trick Williams, but no angle. The show did go off the air, and I guess we'll have to see what the follow-up is with that. Overall, another good NXT show. I still don't think they're as great as the classic black and gold shows. I prefer the 5-match cards also. Like, this was a little long, borderlining on too long. 3 hours is a lot. I think the real sweet spot was those 2.5 hour shows, 5 match cards. A little long. Love the Iron Survivor matches. I mean, I would recommend both of those matches. I think the Iron Survivor matches definitely stole the show. And everything else was solid, but nothing you really have to go out of your way to see. CM Punk at the beginning with Shawn Michaels was fun. That was a nice little moment. Overall, I give the show a B. Solid pay-per-view, but not at the level of the classic takeovers. And that's pretty much how I feel about every NXT show in this modern era. They do have some real studs, though. Some real top-level guys and gals, for that matter, that should be on the main roster. And, it's just a matter of finding the right spots for them. But, I mean, Dragonov, how long is he going to be champion? He should be on the main roster. Definitely Bron Breakker. He's long overdue. And Tyler Bate and Lash Legend, she might need some more time, but I think there's a lot of potential with her. She definitely stood out on this show, and Tiffany Stratton will no doubt be a big star in the main roster. So they definitely have a bright future as far as the future of superstars at WWE. There's several people that are looking like they're going to be major players for years to come. Overall, enjoyable show. Thank you all for tuning in tonight. I appreciate the viewership and support. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a thumbs up on YouTube. Tell a friend about the No DQ YouTube channel and buy a shirt, nodq.com/merch. Say yeah to No DQ, and I will see you all next time.